What's good, guys? Um, have you ever actually thought about the color purple? Like, not the color is purple, but why? Who looked at that one and went, yeah, it's definitely purple? Because if you ask me, it honestly, it could have been called Greg. I mean, I believe it. Like, imagine someone walked up to you one day and pointed at your grape. Yeah, that's Greg. After about a week, like, you'd probably be like, yeah, you'd stop questioning it, you know? That's basically what happened with purple, you know? Like, nobody knows purple personally. I was kind of just trusting everybody else, you know? Like, what if someone lied to us, right? Or just, like, believing that big lie? Could you imagine that? Like, one day, like, historians, like, are giving up a cave or something, and they're just like, yo, we made a mistake. It's called Steve. You know, yeah, because, like, Steve's a really purple-sounding name. But it's purple, you know? It's pretty crazy to think about. Because honestly, if I you know, my name's Will, right? But that's just how it goes. Like, what if I want to be called Jeremiah the Gaston? You know, Jeremiah the Gaston. You know, like that could be my name. Did Purple ever get that choice? Low key, low key. That could have happened, you know. But no, it's purple. It's purple. You know, a lot of people like don't tend to think about that a whole lot. They just kind of accept purple as purple. Like, it could be blue. It could have been blue. But they made blue blue, and purple's not blue. You know? Like, I think this is very important to talk about and be assured of. Hold on. Over to land. Slash. Yeah, open the land. Loud commands on. Game rule. What? What? Oh, well, that's weird. What? Huh. Ah, shit. I'm sorry. Hold on. But no, like, you know, what if someone was like, yo, this looks like a Jerukamama, you know? But they, you know, let's just restart. But they were like, no, I like purple. Hello? Um, Dude, you just completely ignored that dude's name. He wanted to name it Jeremiah, but you named it purple. I think purple's also a very interesting color too. People don't often ask me, yo, Will, um, why is your foot on your left arm? They don't really ask me that a whole lot, you know, mostly because it's not on my left arm, it's on my right leg. But I think people should ask that a lot. I feel like they're leaving a lot of room to like grow and to like talk and stuff. And I think like if people started asking me like why my nose was attached to my arm, I also feel like people like would start to get to know me better too, and they'd also start to understand where I'm coming from, of why purple is purple. You know, I think I think that's what people get it mixed up with. Because if you take a look at something like yellow, why is it called yellow? Matter of fact, why is an orange called an orange? But they look at an orange one day and be like, yo, what is this then? I don't know. But it looks like that one color we keep seeing. And so they named it orange, right? Because that would make sense. You know, they see the color a whole lot. And they see the fruit. And like, you know, they're like, alright, well this fruit's gotta be named orange. But what about the color? We'll just name it the same thing, you know? We'll name it both orange. Wouldn't that get confusing? You know, maybe. Maybe. Then again, why is your name Dr. Labradoodle, you know? My dog's name is Labradoodle. We should start calling a lot of dogs that. You get what I'm saying? Like, naming things are kind of weird. Like, was Purple named after someone? Like, was the guy who like, made the color purple, was his name Purple? Was his name Purple? Oh, I did. All right. Well, that being said, I think me talking about why the color purple is called purple just has even more, well, like, it just makes sense why I want to know why it's called purple. You know, if I came up with the color purple, my name's William. Not even close to purple. Why did I call it purple? You know, it's like I could have called it freaking Jerome. You know, I could have called Purple Jerome, but instead I called it Purple. Was I dating a girl named Purple? No. Gotcha. Oh, he was 18. So he was not doing anything with the girl named Purple, so I couldn't have named it Purple. Yeah, let me do that so you get that out of the way. You know, it could also, like, was he feeling purple one day? Like, you know how, like, people are saying, oh, I'm just feeling a little bit blue. Could they have been feeling purple? Because if we're being honest, that could be a reason. You know? Like, hey, I'm feeling a bit purple today. Dude, I have the greatest idea ever. But I don't know. I don't like the word purple. I feel like if that was a saying, I wouldn't call it purple even still. Cause like, why is purple called purple? You know, like honestly, if it were up to me, which it is, cause I discovered it, I think it should be called Kevin. But then why am I calling it Kevin, you know? Like, why is magenta called magenta? Wait a minute. See, magenta was named after something. So magenta was called magenta because it was named after a town called Magenta. But then I just called it purple. Was I married to someone named Purple? Huh, okay, gotcha. Okay, so I'm kind of lost here. Why would I... Oh, that's a forest fire. Anyhow, I still don't understand why I would call it purple. I wasn't dating no girl named Purple. I wasn't married to some girl named Purple. This is all very confusing. And honestly, if it was up to me... Wait, who was I married to? Jemima Harriet Lassetti in 1859. Wow, I'm old. She died. He later married Alexandrine Caroline Malwa. And one son and 4 daughters. So wow, I got around. Well, yeah, so I have no idea why I named it Purple. Honestly, if it was up to me, I'd probably name it Kevin. I think that's a nice name. But honestly, I'm still a little confused. What is purple? What exactly makes something purple, you know? Like, what if, like, you know, there's probably a saying for this, but, like, I think I just discovered something new. What if, say, like, I see blue, or, like, I see, like, say I see red, right, but my friend says green? What if they can't see color? What if they're blind to color, you know? Like, a colorblind, you know? Well, that's a cool word. You know what? If I name something purple, I think naming setting colorblind makes sense. Because why did I name it colorblind, you know? I find it kind of weird. Why I named it colorblind? Wait a minute. Why did I name it colorblind? Yeah, so Google doesn't know what he's talking about. So yeah, it has like no idea why I called it colorblind. Does this all come down? No? Okay. It doesn't know why I named it colorblind either. And honestly, I think it's just because it can't hold my awesome omega awesomeness. And I think it's like it's showing a lot. Can I do this? I can't. Awesome. And I think it's trying to take credit for my work, honestly. With naming it, saying it named it colorblind and why it named it colorblind, but it didn't. I named it colorblind. So I'm like, why is it trying to take credit for my work, you know? Like I named it colorblind. Why did I name it colorblind? Was I dating anybody named colorblind? I think that's pretty important. Hold on. Have I dated anyone named colorblind? Huh. Well, you know, AI can't help me, so therefore it's just worthless. You heard it here, folks. AI sucks. There's probably a reason for it. Like purple. Why is it named purple, you know? Like, honestly, if I was the one who was in charge with naming stuff, I probably wouldn't call it purple. Call it something like Kevin. I think calling it Kevin would be a pretty cool name. Oh, it's another ravine! Huh! Would you look at that? I'm just awesome sauce when it comes to finding ravines. Why is it named ravine? I think these people, whoever naming these things, low key, like why did I name it purple? Like that's kind of weird, but like other people have to have named it ravine, right? Because I didn't come up with ravine. I don't need to search that up. I didn't name it ravine. Yeah, it's not giving me DC. I don't know what it's talking about. You know what would go right here perfectly? Damn. Anywho, how did I get over here so easily? Interesting. Comes up with the names of colors. Like, who came up with cerulean? Some guy one day just looking at some color and be like, yeah, you know what? You know what that looks like right now? Cerulean. What is that? You know, I don't know. I can't be bothered to know. But I sure know it looks just like that. Like, no. Cerulean is a stupid name for a color. Because, honestly, I don't think I definitely didn't come up with the name cerulean. Some guy probably named it something. Because it sounds like someone like who would name cerulean would be like, I don't know, Albrecht Hopfner or something like that, you know. I don't know if that's a person, but if it is, he'd probably name it something like cerulean, you know. He just gives me, like, that name just gives me cerulean vibes. So that's if I was naming in charge of naming stuff cerulean, it would be Albrecht Hopfner. That's what my name would be. I think that translates nicely. Who comes up with the name turquoise? That's a really weird color. I messed up the door placement. Oh well, have fun with that, guys. Well, as the day comes to a close, this is what. Oh, hey, my name shows up on top of my head. This is what our house looks like. I think it's really nice. It's really pretty. All right. Bye.